since I'm in the presence of presidents, I think it's very fitting that my essay is titled Campaign Promises. I am at a campaign event for my election as president of my country, and the cheering is deafening. I am smiling, I'm waving, and I'm chanting with the crowd, until I spot a man gesticulating so wildly, trying to get my attention. And security men have restrained him. At my request, he is allowed onto the podium. And with the dignity of the aged, he slowly approaches the stand. He straightens his tattered shirt, and he proclaims, "I have some questions for you," and they wouldn't let me ask. All anybody wants to do is sing. And amused, I tell him, "Ask your questions, sir, it is your right." So reassured, he grabs the microphone and he begins a diatribe. He says, "I am a farmer. My father and my grandfather were farmers. All of us have been poor. My son is in the university, he's studying agriculture, and I don't want his story to be like ours. In fact, I have tried to discourage him. I told him to study computer science so he can be a tech bro, but he insists that farming is the future of Africa." I let out a laugh, and I say, "Your son is right, Baba. Africa currently has a population of 1 billion people. Who will feed those people? It is farmers. And you do not provide only for our stomachs, although that's very important. You are the fuel of industry. Don't forget that by 2016, Africa owned a whopping 60% of all arable land in the world. In the words of Akinwumi Adesina, Africa's agricultural potential is massive." But then he interrupts me. He says, "Didn't the same man say that Africa cannot eat potential? Talk is cheap. Where is this potential when we cannot transport our produce to markets, even in neighboring countries, without spoilage? What can a poor farmer do when he struggles to produce, but the market is close to him? Yes, we have potential, but Africa still has the lowest rate of intra-regional trade in the world, with only 17% of total exports being intracontinental. So my question to you is, his question to me as a presidential candidate is, how will you unlock this agricultural potential that you say we have when you become president?" I know that what he says is true, yet I know that where a problem exists, there must be a solution. How do I help the farmers in my country to expand their market into the continent and make agriculture a booming industry? I blurt out my first idea, credits. About 60% of farmers in Africa are subsistence farmers who need money to scale operations. Access to loans to buy better equipment, fuel technological innovation, and purchase insurance against natural disasters caused by climate change a lot of the time will extend the farmer's ability to grow crops on an international scale and become an exportation powerhouse. Second, infrastructure is important. In fact, it's paramount. Agricultural goods must be transported cheaply and efficiently. Through public-private partnerships, I can facilitate the construction of roads, refrigerated warehouses, and better shipping facilities. Perhaps even 1 or 2 ports dedicated to the export of agricultural goods. Before he can cut in again, I continue. That covers production and distribution, but I haven't discussed demand. Government concessions can create and sustain demand at the highest level. If national governments jointly support businesses through tax breaks, through reduced tariffs and concessions, it will remove barriers to protect production and empower more industries that can make better use of your commercial produce. Once those relationships are created, the last step, and the most important to me because I'm a lawyer, is judicial protection. To provide trade protections through a robust and responsive justice system under the AFCFTA. This, of course, includes bilateral security agreements to eliminate the theft and violence that lead to loss of productivity. By now, the old farmer is nodding, and he adds, I'm sure you know as well as I do that our biggest problem isn't finding ideas, it is executing them. And he says, absolutely, that is the cornerstone of my campaign. So he clears his throat and he declares, I had my doubts about voting for you, but not anymore. My son was right. If we have leaders like you who can execute the right ideas, then the story of intra-Africa agricultural trade can finally change. And with that, he calmly descends the steps, leaving me with a smile on my face and a cheering crowd behind me.